Vince Show. Here's Vince Colonnese.
All right, 844-484-3872, 844 the USA. That's the way to join us today from coast to coast, from sea to shining sea. Yes, the Venezuelans, led by Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro. They've been stealing from us like crazy. I've got the details on that ahead, but I have a phone call standing by that I want to take first. So this is James calling in from the Golden State, from California, wants to weigh in. We have Jack Smith testifying on the Hill today, where he's pretending like he's the guy who was doing good for the American people. I'll just go after Trump. He's committed all these crimes. No, you were trying to rig an election, and you should be behind bars. Jack Smith. James, California. Go, sir. Good to have you on the show today. Go for it.
Yes, let me tell you something. I'm very frustrated. Okay, James Comey, Letitia James, Christopher Wray, Hunter Biden, Joe Bonnie Hill, Jack Smith, Adam Schiff, Merrick Garland, and Alejandro Mayorkas. What do they have in common? These people should be doing time, and I really feel nothing's going to happen to these people, and I'm frustrated. And when we get these politicians that say, let's move on and get to the business of American people. I am the American people, and I want them to get some retribution. We need some justice here, and we need to take some mugshots off these people like they did to Trump. And we need to, we're not going to, that's not right. It's so frustrating to me. And you articulated so well with all the evidence, but you know what frustrates me at the end of the day? What's going to happen? Nothing. Why isn't something happening?
Yeah, you start to black pill. You start to black pill entirely. You're like, that's it. Nothing's going to happen. Whatever. And then you don't vote. And then you just get totally dissuaded, deflated. Here's the thing, James. What you're talking about is really important because we're going into the midterms. And I don't know, some of these Republicans are just lollygagging their way in and thinking, well, that's fine. We'll figure out a way to convince them to vote for us somehow. Some scheme, some message is going to work. Forget these messages. Forget trying to spin me. How about just delivering results? Like, so James voted for accountability. I voted for accountability. Most of the people within the sound of our voices, James, voted for accountability. Accountability means people are actually held accountable for the crimes that they commit against us. And you mentioned a great list of names, and some of those names we've seen the beginnings of something. But where did it go from there? So, for instance, we get like a congressional investigation of Jack Smith. Fine, we've seen a million of those. We get indictments of James Comey and Letitia James. Where did those go? Well, they got slaughtered in process. Where judges in rigged operations are throwing these cases out, and we don't have U.S. attorneys in place to see them through, right? And why don't we have U.S. attorneys in place? Go ahead, you just ask the basic questions, right, James? You sort of keep backing up to the point of resistance. What's the thing that's in the way? What's the thing that's in the way? Here's the thing that's in the way: Republicans in the damn Senate, Republicans who don't want to get rid of the blue slip, who are just letting U.S. attorneys be picked by Adam Schiff and the Democrats. We don't get any full-time U.S. attorneys in the relevant states. So in other words, where I see resistance, I attack resistance. That's what we need to do here. So if you want your expectations to be joyfully dashed, and your expectations are nothing's going to happen, we're not going to see any accountability. If you want to see those expectations, those rock bottom expectations exceeded, the only way that happens is if we get these Republicans to actually do the job that we sent them to Washington to do. And so that's why we're going to stick to it. James, thank you for that. That's a great way to set up for the fact that I've got a U.S. Senator Bill Haggerty coming on today. He's joining us top of the next hour. I'm going to ask him about this because it's a massive deal. It's a massive deal. We want accountability. We also want clarity on what's going on. So Venezuela, we got a thing going on. We're surrounding Venezuela. We're blockading it. President Trump just released a statement about it. And he says that the Venezuelans have been stealing from us for years. Now, what's going on there? Well, that's true. Venezuela has been stealing us from us for years at historic levels. At historic levels. Let me take you back in time. 2007. At the time, Venezuela is run by the dictator Hugo Chavez. Hugo Chavez is running the operation at that time. Maduro's mentor, the guy who trained him up. Chavez at the time was unhappy with the fact that United States energy companies were making profits off of their own work. You see, in Venezuela, like a lot of countries around the planet, by the way, but this is in Venezuela especially. In Venezuela, American industry built the energy industry there. You know, the oil and stuff that comes from Venezuela? You can thank the U.S. energy industry, for building the infrastructure, building the wells, refining this stuff, that is all American industry that built this. But like every other socialist throughout time, rather than build something, what the socialists do, what the commies do, is they look at something that is producing revenue, producing money, and they say, hey, that successful thing, that's evil. Let's take it, let's steal from it, and then we'll line our own pockets. So that's what Hugo Chavez did. In 2007, Hugo Chavez took the American-built oil industry and he hijacked it. He hijacked the oil fields from ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips, ran those companies out of the country. He gave them a deal that they had to refuse. He put a gun to their head and he said, you either give me a majority stake, that is, give the Venezuelan regime a majority stake in your company's operations in this country. We want all the profits from your hard work. We want all of them. And if you don't, get out. So they did. They left. Exxon and ConocoPhillips said, we're gone. We're out of here. They left. What happened to all the stuff that they were working on? It was seized by the Venezuelan government. Seized. Stolen. Not every U.S. company did that. Chevron decided to take the awful deal. They said, okay, fine. We'll become minority stakeholders in our own shareholders, minority shareholders in our own project. And Venezuela took over the majority. That's just true. So when President Trump says the Venezuelan regime has been stealing from the American people, that is true. They overtook Exxon and ConocoPhillips, and then they took most of Chevron. Now, this has been the subject of a lot of litigation ever since, actually. A lot of litigation, some of which is playing out in the courts this year. Massive settlements, an attempt to recoup the stolen funds. And then in 2013, Nicolas Maduro, the illegitimate leader of Venezuela, also seized oil rigs from a Houston-based oil company, energy company called Superior Energy Services. After that company had shut them down because the Venezuelan state oil monopoly wasn't paying. It wasn't giving out the payments it was supposed to. And so time and time again, the Venezuelans have been stealing from the American-built energy industry in Venezuela. That's just true. President Trump right about that. And so what do they do with the money? Well, the money is that then goes on to be used for the illicit oil trade, of course, and for the drug cartels, one of which is in bed with the government, controlled as a foreign terrorist organization designated by the United States, controlled by the Venezuelan regime. The oil that Venezuela sells, the oil that comes from Venezuela, and oil, by the way, Venezuela's got massive reserves. They have the biggest proven reserves on the entire planet. Hundreds of billions of barrels of oil that we know are underground. We know. Massive reserves. Where does the oil go? China. 80% of it goes directly to our adversary, China. And it's done under false flags. This is why when we intercepted a ship recently, that the skipper, the big oil tanker that was leaving Venezuela, it was destined for Cuba. And then when it left Cuba, it would have some random flag put on the ship. This is what, when you say false flag, you ever hear this expression, a false flag? It means it's a fake. It's an imposter. It's not authentically being represented. That's what that means. A false, that comes to us from naval operations, where somebody is flying some other country's flag to conceal where that boat actually comes from. It's a false flag. And that's what they do. And they move this oil in illicit ways, this black market for oil. And all these guys are running together, Iran and Venezuela and China and Russia, North Korea. They're all in bed together. They're all moving this stuff around. And President Trump's trying to put a stop to this for a bunch of reasons. One of them is that we have oil sanctions against Venezuela. And what good are sanctions if we don't enforce them? But another is the illicit drug trade, as the president points out in his Truth Social post. Terrorism, drug smuggling, human trafficking, foreign terrorism, chaos in the Western Hemisphere. Wasn't that long ago in the history of the United States that we actually thought that it was important to maintain order in the Western Hemisphere. We even had a name for it, the Monroe Doctrine. It was designed to ensure that the United States had peace in our hemisphere, in South and Central and North America. President Trump, in his own way, is trying to restore that now. And he's got some collaboration. He's got, from Chile to Argentina, working with Milei. He's developing these important, productive relationships in our hemisphere. But you still have the problem of Maduro, who's causing a lot of chaos in this hemisphere. And by the way, in South America, they don't love this guy. They don't love what he's doing. They want him out too. And he's not even legitimate. He's not the legitimately elected leader of Venezuela. He not only is he stealing the oil, he stole the election. He doesn't even represent the people of Venezuela. And yet he wields power over them. So President Trump's saying, no more. He's clamping down. So tonight, he's got a big opportunity as he addresses the nation to explain all of this, to talk about this, to explain to the American people why they should buy in, why they should be concerned about this too. Because it can't just be this show. It can't be just this audience that knows what we're talking about here. The whole country should understand this. Every voter should have some sense of, okay, what's actually happening in Venezuela. So a big opportunity tonight in this address to the nation, I think, to talk about this. And one more thing on American energy, on energy broadly right now, that I think is useful for people to understand. The cost of a barrel of oil has gone down dramatically under President Trump. You know this, right?
Such a fucking idiot.
Cost of a barrel of oil has gone down dramatically. Does the cost at the pump go down at the same rate? No, it does not. There's a phenomenon, an economic phenomenon, especially attached to energy called rocket and feather. Perhaps you've heard this before. That when the price of a barrel of oil goes up, the price at the pump goes up really quickly. That's the rocket effect. When the barrel comes down, the price at the pump goes down more slowly. That's the feather. It's floating down to the ground a little bit more slowly. And oil prices are forward-looking. In the oil industry, they look forward like 8 months. They're trying to basically assess what's the market going to look like 3/4 of a year from now or beyond. That's how the oil barrel prices come out. They're futures markets. And as they assess that, what are they assessing? Well, President Trump's not going to get in the way. There's not going to be regulatory burden. That's not going to be the issue. We're not dealing with the Biden administration. That's going to be good. It's going to be a good regulatory environment. But they're also watching, the oil industry in the United States is also watching, as globally, we've got a lot of energy production going on, including by the Arab states. And President Trump's been encouraging that. He's been encouraging lots of energy production, not just in the United States, but globally. Now, why is that? Why isn't he focused entirely on American energy? And the answer to that, as best I can tell, and I think this is it, is President Trump believes that there are two things that are going to supercharge the American economy. One is cheap, affordable energy, no matter where we get it. Cheap, affordable energy, abundant energy, no matter where we get it. And two is a cheap dollar. A dollar without a ton of interest attached to it. This is why he's super excited to replace Jerome Powell coming up in May. This is what he's excited about. Because if we can get a lot of new capital investment, lower lending costs means more companies take out loans to build stuff in the United States. We get a lot more capital in the market, and we've got a lot of energy going around. He thinks the American economy is going to take off, and it's hard to argue with that conclusion. But I will say, just so you know, the American energy industry doesn't love all of this. They would prefer that OPEC countries were not churning out a bunch of oil. They would prefer a situation where America was the only game in town. They want the oil prices to be a little bit higher. They want the profits. They want to be able to pay for the pumps. They want to be able to pay for new drilling, these types of things. They would like it to be higher, somewhere in the $60 to $80 a barrel range would be preferable to them. But President Trump is thinking not just about the oil industry, he's thinking about the entire country. That's what he's doing. And so as he goes through this, first of all, as I describe all this, you should know, and I do, this is complicated business. It's not like this is easy. And a lot of this is problems the government created in the first place that President Trump's trying to fix. But as he navigates this, to the extent that he can explain it well, and also call in some backup, guys like J.D. Vance and Caroline Leavitt, the White House should be doing a lot of that right now because it does matter to America. More ahead on The Vince Show.
The Vince Show.
Owning a home is amazing. actually, until it's not. 1 minute, you're enjoying your morning coffee, and then the next, you're ankle deep in water from a burst pipe. Yeah, that's not good. Repairs don't care about timing. They definitely don't care about your budget. You protect your health, you care even your phone. But what about your home? It's probably your biggest investment. It often is. And when something breaks, that can cost you big time. That's where HomeServe comes in. Regular homeowners insurance might not cover the everyday breakdowns, like a furnace failure, a broken light switch, or a busted water heater. But HomeServe offers plans that help cover those kinds of repairs. It's like a subscription for your home starting at just $4.99 a month. That's a really big deal. You never know when something crazy can happen. And if it does, it's good to have HomeServe to call to help you out. You can help protect your home systems and your wallet with HomeServe against covered repairs. Plans start at just $4.99 a month. Go to homeserve.com to find the plan that's right for you. That's homeserve.com. It's not available everywhere. Most plans range from $4.99 to $11.99 a month your first year. Terms applied on covered repairs. See homeserve.com for details.
Vince Colonnese.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, season, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meter beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels, or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, equal housing opportunity.
When life happens and you need care fast, you can Teladoc that. Actually, for almost everything health-related, checkups, check-ins, and everything in between, you can Teladoc that. Visit teladochealth.com to get started. TELADOC health.com.
CDC recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise should receive a second dose of seasonal COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Learn more and make an appointment at KinneyDrugs.com. Walk-ins are also welcome at all Kinney pharmacies.
The Mega Millions jackpot is getting mega huge. Head to your favorite New York Lottery retailer and grab a ticket today for your chance at a massive win. Currently over $200 million. Good luck, New York. Please play responsibly.
Deck your home with Blinds.com. DIY or let us install. Free design consultation. Plus free samples and free shipping.
Head to Blinds.com now for up to 50% off with minimum purchase plus a free professional measure. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, season, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meter beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels, or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, equal housing opportunity.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
From our family to yours, Merry Christmas from The Vince Show.
And blowing
All right. Look, for a limited time now, Patriot Mobile is running an amazing promotion, and it's a once-a-year chance to get a free smartphone. Once a year. Get a free smartphone just for switching to America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. A brand new phone, absolutely free, but that's just while supplies last. You see, for over the last 12 years now, Patriot Mobile has defended faith, family, and freedom, all while giving you the same or better premium coverage on all three major U.S. networks. A great company. Unlimited data, mobile hotspots, international roaming, they do it all. And when you switch, you don't sacrifice any quality or service. Hundreds of thousands of people have joined the movement to help support a company that believes in the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the sanctity of life, and our veterans and our first responders. Switching, so easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or even upgrade to a free smartphone today. Their 100% U.S.-based team can activate you in just minutes. Go to patriotmobile.com/Vince or call 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code Vince. Don't wait. This limited time offer ends December 31st. That's patriotmobile.com/Vince or call 972-PATRIOT with the promo code Vince. Join me and make the switch today.
Vince Colonnese.
Tomorrow on the Chris Plank Show, Chuck Schumer says watching the American military take out Venezuelan narco-terrorists turned his stomach. 9 a.m. on WMAL.
Yeah, it really is. It helps to know something, doesn't it? It helps actually know what the hell's going on. I just saw this morning that Stephen Miller of the White House, of course, has weighed in on the fact that Venezuela has been stealing from America for years. He said American sweat, ingenuity, and toil created the oil industry in Venezuela. It's tyrannical expropriation. That's
funny.
The largest recorded theft of American wealth and property. These pillaged assets were then used to fund terrorism and flood our streets with killers, mercenaries, and drugs. It sure were. Stephen Miller. We'll hear from the president tonight. He addresses the nation at 9 p.m. We'll find out what he has to say then on this subject and so much more. But coming up, I want to talk to you about what's going on at Brown University. Where's the killer? Why isn't this guy in custody? And why every time these idiot Democrats open their mouths, I begin to increasingly think what we're witnessing is not merely incompetence, but a full-blown cover-up? What is this exactly? We'll explore it ahead on The Vince Show.
Vince Colonnese. The Vince Show.
Paid for by term provider. Premiums will vary. Plans depend on age, location, and other factors. Visit bigloot.com.
You have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policy.
That's how good my pot is.
Previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term
up by
Provider,
the end of that fucker.
800-555-1509. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems.
Now, if I was a cigarette smoker, my hair would be all stained. My face would be stained like Wiggins because he smokes cigarettes. Him and Alicia, one right after another.
You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million.
Talk over that fucking thing. Hey, you're a smoker. You're fucking walking emphysema there, Wiggin. Your nickname is Exhumed because you look like you've been exhumed. You really do. Someone took the fucking mummy stuff off you, and you've been exhumed. What are you gonna do, Wiggin? What, you think I was begging you to come up here? No, you're chicken shit. You think I'm begging JC to come up? No, she's a chicken shit. Won't even stream now. She gets it from all angles, not just me. JC has a lot more enemies than I have out here. I guarantee you that right now. Yeah. I sunk low, JC, and I used your dead husband's picture. I didn't sink low enough and use your dad's picture. You know, what's the sense? Because you're a fucking idiot, JC. You're a lying fucking idiot, just like what Travers used to post all the time. Now, I can't be sure Travers is fucking Wiggin, but, you know, it's a very good possibility. Highly probable. Probably at least 80%. Can't be 100%. But you don't see Travers around anymore. Where are you, Travers? Did you die? I'm still wondering why Dougie Doug went all the way to Vermont to see, he's a criminal, a fucking felon. He fucking robbed a restaurant and ran from the cops. Was that on Cops on TV? I've been watching a lot of that. These fucking people they pick up. Ted Kennedy was drinking, had a woman in his car, and she ended up dead because he went off the fucking road. You make me sick, JC, and so don't you, Wiggin.
ARA.com.
That Chrissy, I love Britney Spears. That's a fucking whacked out whack job right there. That's a fucking dumb mother. Her and Lady Venom should just move in together. Never have a man in their life.
Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEART. That's code HEART. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY.
Sebastian has a gambling problem. That's why he was begging JC for money. He spent his food money and his rent money gambling. He can't, I can only afford to lose $50, not $500, and go home with nothing in your pocket. I guarantee it.
Eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
One thing about not having a car of my own, I don't just jump in the car and go to the casino.
Those with moderate or severe immunocompromise should receive a second dose of
See, I've been live 39 minutes.
2 to 6 months after their last
Wiggin, I got all kinds of time. I got all kinds of time, Wiggin.
Walk-ins are also welcome at all Kinney pharmacies.
Charlie says he won't come into my chat.
WMAL, making sense of mainstream media because the double standard is real. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Hey, Wiggin, how come every time you went live, Charlie was the first one, proud of it, to be in your chat? Always wanting to come up on the panel, begging you in Vegas chat to go live, Wiggin. Remember when you were going to wage war against JC? You're a fucking hypocrite.
Well, we still don't have a suspect in custody. Brown University. Man walks into an economics classroom, kills 2, injures 9. Among the students he killed, a young woman, the vice president of the college Republicans, murdered in cold blood. He also killed an Uzbek national who was studying to become a neurosurgeon. And I saw on Fox News that Jesse Waters, not to be confused with Jesse Kelly, 2 very different people. Jesse Waters said that he's hearing reports that the young woman, the VP of the Ella Cook is her name, the vice president of the college Republicans, he's heard reports that she was shot multiple times. Have you heard of this, Jim? Multiple times. I really wish we were in a world where authorities would just tell us the truth about this. How would this change the nature of their attempts to catch him if they just admitted something like that? Yeah, he shot her multiple. Well, if someone goes in and shoots one person multiple times and then leaves the scene of the crime, that sure sounds like they were targeting her, doesn't it? Authorities in Providence, Rhode Island this week have been an utter disaster. They've been releasing very little evidence in an effort to try and help the public track this guy down. Grainy video footage, terrible excuses for why they don't give us more. Random reports that the guy was yelling something as he was inside attacking these students, and yet no one tells us what he was yelling. Wouldn't that help with catching him if we knew something about his ideology, what he believed in. Perhaps that could trigger someone's knowledge of, oh, I know a guy who has that crazy opinion. Oh, I've heard so-and-so talk. In fact, he kind of looks like the suspect. Don't you think you'd release? How does this stop us from, like, how does this get in the way? If you tell us the truth about this, how would this get in the way of pursuing justice? I get it. Sometimes you withhold evidence because you don't want the bad guy to know that you're onto him. But we're now entering day whatever. We're on Wednesday. The attack was on Saturday. You're not onto him. Nobody thinks you're onto him. The bad guy doesn't think that. I don't think that. And you know that. You're not onto him. Come on. Release information. What's happening here? Today, they released some more grainy footage of a different person saying that they were walking near the suspect, and so therefore they'd like to question that person. Okay, good luck with that. Well, what are these press conferences? So, let me see here. We got a lot coming out of Brown right now, or a lot that's frustrating about Brown University. They've been releasing more neighborhood footage these many days later, stuff like Ring doorbell cameras and stuff, showing the suspect fat, wearing a winter hat, black one, wearing a COVID mask, wearing kind of a brownish and black jacket, brown on the bottom, black on the shoulders jacket, meandering around. He's kind of cherubic. He looks like he's got like a Buddha belly walking around. And he's just meandering all over the place in the video footage that they've released. But that's about all they're giving you. They're not really giving you anything else. And at the press conference yesterday, there was an idiot reporter who asked the Rhode Island officials whether or not the fact that this guy is wearing a mask means that locals in Providence, Rhode Island might confuse him with ICE agents. Who is this left-wing idiot who's asking this question yesterday? Listen to this in the response.
If someone were, a Providence resident were to see someone who matched the description of the person of interest, how would they be sure that they weren't dealing with a federal?
The tip line that we've been providing.
How about you're an idiot, and then you move on? How about that's the answer to that? But here's this Mayor Smiley saying, well, there's a tip line, and you can call it a tip. No, say, you're stupid. This guy does not look like an ICE agent. This guy can barely capture his next breath. He's not capturing illegals.
Throughout the last several days, 401-272-3121, that call comes in here and is answered in this building with Providence police professionals and our partners at the FBI. That is who's manning the phones. That is who's processing the tips. And we are encouraging anybody who has relevant information to please use that tip line, and they should know that that's who's on the other end of the phone. And again, if you have relevant information or information that you think might help us with this investigation, we encourage you to call.
Are there any things that can be differentiated between this person and an ICE agent who would be that stuff?
Okay, you're fired. Get out of the business, please. You're not a reporter. You're a hack. You go in there, you're pretending like, oh, that guy's a criminal. You know who else is a criminal? ICE agents. You know what else they do? They wear masks, just like the kill. Just get out of here, dude. Stupid. It's just so stupid. And by the way, you could be using that time so much more effectively grilling these idiots. Like, why don't you have footage of this guy? Where are all the cameras? How are there no useful cameras in this entire school? Brown University, supposed to be very impressive, well-endowed school, not endowed with cameras, apparently.
Cameras in the hallway, but they don't show the suspect, or Brown is not releasing them, or you're not releasing them to us. How does a multi-million-dollar school not have a bunch of cameras in the hallway?
A real question.
So let me try to explain that. So as President Matson knows, there was a major addition put on that building within the last 5 years or so. That is a modern building attached to a much older one in the back. So it doesn't come as a surprise to me, at least, that there are cameras in the newer part of the building. And there is video footage, okay? So there's the back part of the building, old part, and front part.
Are the students being told not to talk to the press? The students in that classroom, are they being told not to speak at all about what went down in that room? It's a lot of kids. I mean, I say kids, these are young college students. What's the deal there? Why are we hearing from so few people who are in that room?
The shooting occurs in the old part towards the back, up towards Hope Street. In that older part of the building, there are fewer, if any, cameras in that location.
Yeah, cameras never been installed in an old building. That's never happened before. How much you want to bet that all the houses that have video footage now of this guy walking around in the streets are all older than the cameras that were installed on them? You know what I mean? All the houses can install cameras just fine. They've got plenty of footage out there. What about inside the school? Oh, it's an old building. We couldn't install cameras. We're too stupid. What? That's how is that an excuse? Why are you making so many excuses? No footage. Also, why didn't the sirens go off? Doesn't Brown University have a whole siren system for if there's an active shooter on campus? Isn't that kind of part of the deal? Listen to this question and answer. This is with the president of Brown University. Her name is Christina Paxson. She has no idea what the school's emergency policies are, but she is very confidently wrong about them.
What is your response to parents as well who said they pay a lot of money for their kids to go to Brown? They question the cameras might be sirens didn't go off. Do you believe that Brown had the precautions and safety measures in place before the shooting that were appropriate and necessary?
I do. And in fact, I'm glad you mentioned the sirens because I think there's been some misinformation about.
She's an up-talker. Not good. That's a bad sign.
We have two security systems that we can activate in a time of an emergency. One is a system that sends out text messages, phone calls, emails, and it was activated within minutes of the incident. Those messages went out to 20,000 individuals, so all alerts. We also have a system of sirens. There are 3 sirens placed across campus. Those get activated when there is a broad scale emergency and we want people to rush into buildings. In the case of an active shooter, activating that system could have caused people to rush into Barrison Hall. So that's not a system that we would ever use in the case of an active shooter. So.
Just to follow up, it does say on the website when it was launched that it is for an active shooter.
It depends on the circumstances and where the active shooter would be. But
do you hear what he said? He goes, why didn't you set the sirens off for the active shooter? You have like a whole emergency siren system. Her response is, we never do that for active shooters. It'd be dangerous for us to do that. And his response is, your website says you do it for active shooters. Well, it depends on the circumstances. You know, we take it case by case. Oh, really? What did you do for the other active shooters? What are you talking about? Depends on, is that what the website says? It depends on the circumstances? Sometimes we won't set it off if we don't feel like it. What is this? Here's the website. I pulled it up. By the way, they're literally scrubbing their website of all sorts of information. More on that in a moment. But here's what they have. Brown University. They have a program called Brown Siren. Brown Siren. Can you think of a better name for the siren than Brown Siren? Brown Siren. What a stupid name for a siren. The Brown Siren. Examples of emergencies where the Brown Siren would likely be activated include hostile intruder, active shooter. That's the very first thing. So the very first use of the Brown Siren is active shooter. The president of the university just made up a bunch of stuff about their policies on the spot. If you don't know, you can just say that. You know that's allowed, right? And by the way, if you're concluding that people are going to think you're bad at your job when you don't know the answer, well, then I'm sorry, but that's just how it works. You know, at the moment where we need you to know something as the president of the university and you don't, and we discover, wow, you're totally incompetent. You shouldn't be the president of the university. I'm sorry. You're living with the consequences of your own actions. That's it. You failed. You failed. You didn't install cameras in hallways. You didn't activate the siren. These students were imperiled by virtue of your behavior. And now you're trying to cover it up by pretending like you got your stuff together. You do not. And they are scrubbing the website. I mentioned that a moment ago. They're scrubbing the website of all sorts of stuff. Why are they scrubbing their website? What does that have to do with getting to the bottom of this? So Brown University just erased off of its website the existence of a man called Mustafa Karbouche. They're erasing all references to him. Now, Let me just make a really basic point for Brown University, because they are obviously too stupid to understand this. So I'm gonna carefully walk you through this. If you start erasing all references to a single individual off your website, what do you think that does to the likeliness that the public begins to scrutinize that person with added intensity? What do you think that does? Oh, it increases it, you morons. It only makes us look closer at, who the hell is Mustafa Karbush? Why are you erasing all references to this guy? And they have. And here's what it says. Open source intel, one of the great accounts on X, got some screen grabs before they pulled this thing down. And here's what it says. Archive profiles describe Mustafa. Now get ready. I told you this is a dude. You can tell. You look at him. It's a dude. And here's what the website says, okay? Because there are pronoun games being played here. Archive profiles describe Mustafa as a queer Palestinian activist and a third-generation Palestinian refugee before they were taken down. So here's what the site says, quote, meet our student assistants.
To make
Mustafa
silly
Karbush,
little boys
27.
like you ask silly little
Meaning
questions.
he graduates in 2027. Mustafa Karbush, 27, is a first-year student considering concentration in international and public affairs and anthropology with a focus on the Middle East. They
You know why
are
I'm
a
streaming? My
third-generation
friend in
Palestinian
California wanted me
refugee
to.
born and raised in Lebanon. Attaining a scholarship to attend UW Muslim, they have led and continued to help with community building initiatives.
Are you
and
going to
social
deny the
change
guy in
roles.
California
They are
encouraged
fond
Billy
of bringing
to go
their
live?
lived
We needed more
experiences
male
into
speakers.
academic spaces and participating in engaged scholarship. They are highly moved by questions of indigeneity, justice, and inclusion, and particularly interested in the intersection of queer studies with Palestinian studies. Mustafa is also currently the cultural programming coordinator for the Global Brown Center and the e-board of the Arab Society. Okay, so I just read some basics about this dude. Here's what I know about him. He is a full-blown current thing lefty in every sense of the word. Queer theory, I use they, them pronouns. I'm for free Palestine.
If Billy
All
is
of
such
it's
a waste
all
of
out
time,
left-wing radical central casting. And what's happened is, now, yesterday the president was asked about this. Why'd you scrub pages off your website about this guy? What is that all about? What is that all about? And the president pretended like she knew nothing. Either she's completely incompetent or she's lying. Those are the options, which means, neither scenario means she should be the president of the university. Here's what she said yesterday.
Leave some web pages for students or faculty to be taken down. Is that a response to any external threats to anyone in the community?
We have been working very closely with law enforcement to provide them with all of the internal to Brown information that they need to do this investigation. It's their investigation. They're the professionals. So we're providing information. We're not in the job of reviewing it for them. I know nothing about web pages being taken down as part of this. It's the first I've heard of it.
This is the first I've heard of it. I'm not even really the president of this university. I'm just pretending to be one. She's like the Joe Biden of Brown University. She's just standing in. Someone else is running the show. She is President Autopen at Brown University. What is this? I had no idea. They're scrubbing. Wouldn't you? Okay, so let's just say you were at Brown University and you were scrubbing the website of all sorts of sites. Wouldn't you inform the president of the entire university before she steps up to a microphone to answer questions for the press? Wouldn't that come up? It didn't come up. So she's running a crappy organization too? Is that what I'm hearing? The university later in the night, they came out and they said that the reason that they're scrubbing these things is because doxing is going on. There's a doxing of a member of the Brown University community, and they're trying to stop that from happening. So they're scrubbing a website to make it more, to basically highlight the guy even more. Do they realize how stupid this is? And let me be clear about something. I am not alleging that this guy's a shooter. I'm not alleging that. Is he? I don't know. Maybe he is. I have no idea. I'm not alleging anything. What I'm alleging is they know way more than they're letting on. Way more. And they keep lying to us, and they think they're so freaking clever. And then you ask them questions like, what was he yelling when he was killing these kids in the classroom? And they said, it's just an ongoing investigation. That's bull. Tell us what he was yelling and stop covering it up to advance whatever stupid agenda you're trying to advance. whether it's a cover-up for your own butt or because you're advancing a political cause. We don't care. We're trying to catch a killer, and you're playing games. More ahead on The Vince Show.
The Vince Show.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Christmas holiday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Christmas holiday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Vince Colonnese.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, season, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, equal housing opportunity.
CDC recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise receive a second dose of COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Schedule at kinneydrugs.com or walk into any Kinney pharmacy.
It's truck and SUV season at Widget Auto Sales, a used car leader. Just look at the rows of trucks and the rows of SUVs ready for winter, like a Ford F-150 XLT, yours for just $37,999. How about a 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander, just $20,999? Or a beautiful Chevy truck Z71, yours for $26,999. Rows of trucks and rows of SUVs during truck and SUV season at the veteran-owned Widget Auto Sales, a used car leader in out of Washington Street, or online at widgetautosales.com.
Looking for a new set of wheels? Or maybe you're excited to hit the trails with a new sled. Let AmeriQ Credit Union connect you with the financing and enjoy the holiday season. Payment free for 90 days. Apply today at ameriq.org/nopay. Application subject to credit approval. To be eligible for no payments for 90 days, automatic payments from an AmeriQ account are required. Interest begins accruing on the date loan is opened and will be amortized over the monthly payments.
Do you want free internet forever? Yeah, we thought so. That's why Spectrum is giving you just that. Free fiber-powered internet forever when you switch and get 4 mobile lines from Spectrum. No internet bills, no taxes, no late fees. Just fast fiber-powered internet. Call 833-901-0178 to find out how. But hurry, this deal won't last forever. Once more, 833-901-0178. Or visit spectrum.com/free forever to learn more.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, season, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Thank you for making us your home for the holidays. Merry Christmas from The Vince Show.
Well, remember the joy of those Christmas mornings and the sweet treats that made the season magical? You can bring that feeling back, baby, with Uncle Butch's Fudge. Handcrafted in small batches in the heart of the Smoky Mountains, Uncle Butch's Fudge offers a tantalizing array of delicious and intriguing flavors that are going to leave you craving more. From classics like chocolate and peanut butter fudge to orange cream or banana split, they've got a flavor for every fudge fanatic. And boy, they love the Vince Show audience. They really do. Every bite is rich, creamy, and full of Southern hospitality. If you're looking for the perfect gift, Uncle Butch's Fudge is ideal for clients, employees, friends, loved ones, or just to treat yourself while trimming the tree. It's more American than apple pie. Fudge was invented here in America.
You're
Order
a fucking
today. Use the
clown,
promo code
DA.
Vince for 15% off. Plus, enjoy free
Fucking
2-day
chicken
shipping
shit
on all orders of
motherfucking
$30
clown,
or more.
DA.
There's a flavor for everybody on
Ken.
your list. Make this Christmas sweeter with Uncle Butch's Fudge. Artisan
Editor.
crafted, amazingly delicious, fresh from their kitchen right to your door. Visit UncleButch'sFudge.com/Vince and share the magic of small batch fudge this holiday season.
Vince Colonnese.
WMAL, making sense of the border, because laws either matter or they don't.
You would never talk to women like that in front of me, I can tell you that. You're a punk motherfucker, DA.
It's insane. They still refuse to tell us what the guy yelled.
You and your little friend Log
They know the
Liquor.
answer. They won't tell you because they are trying to cover something up. It's a cover-up, guys. It's a cover-up. That's what they're doing in Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh, I got to include rum in there, by the way.
You know, I lived there many years ago.
You know, DA loves them foreign men. He's just like Dougie Doug.
I was at the Naval War College.
Aren't you, DA?
Full place. Anyway, Providence.
Ken, Cocaine Ken. Aren't you? You love them fucking foreigners, don't you? You really dig fucking rum and Vanguard and Mad Jim and Whippermantle and Dutchy. You slobber all over them guys. You make me sick, DA. It's not comedy what you do. You're fucking unhappy with your own life. Otherwise, you'd be talking about what's good about you instead of what's bad about other people. That's all you do. That's all you have. You want me to turn my camera on? I'll turn my camera on. How about you motherfuckers in Vegas? Yeah, you know I'm watching. Sorry, Logical, I blocked all your bots. You don't have anything to fucking say or add. You're just a dumb fucker. You should have went to Sydney, Australia with a rifle. They would have let you in. That's right, Dwayne. You call women in here broads because you can get away with it. Nobody can do anything. But you wouldn't do that at the fucking bar, I'll tell you right now. If you were sitting at the bar and you're just talking that way, somebody's going to fucking knock your fucking block off because you're a fucktard. Disrespectful motherfucker. Pains me to think I would have gave my life to protect your freedom, you fucking idiots. Makes me sick. You don't fucking dare come in here. It's a good thing.